Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. And here we are going to have Tzeentch and Will Francesco going up against Grand Cathay on Arnhem. So I did have a little bit of a challenge here for Francesco. He said he wanted to bring the Blazing Squealers alongside some of the Burning Chariots. So we're going to see some very good gameplay today there coming from him. So on the front, we are going to have the increased power of the Crane Gunners going from 900 up to 1200 gold cost. They're really going to have to pay for themselves on the battlefield. And then for the main battle line, we are going to have the double elite Celestial Dragon Guard. So the biggest and the baddest of the Grand Cathay infantry coming forward, and 95 armor and bronze shield is going to make them rather tanky up against the mass front line of Tzeentch. In the backside, we are going to have the Jade Warrior crossbows here with the shields, because of course a lot of blue horrors and a lot of pink horrors is going to be very good there to have the shields for that protection. The Wuxing Wall Compass in the middle. Of course, the brand new spells don't cost any winds of magic, but they do have 2 uses. Also here, you are going to be getting the Mastery of Element Winds, so you can bolster all of those fantastic spells. Also going to be having the Nexus of Element Winds, giving that power recharge rate, which can, certainly bolster the force here of Grand Cathay. So for the Lord choice, we are going to be having the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin, the fantastic caster here on a Great Longmarch with the Jade Amulet, as well as the Arcane Conduit and the Will of the Dragons coming in with that bonus for leadership. We are going to have the Power of Yin there for the Law passive, with the Ancestral Warriors, Talons of the Night, and the Storm of Shadows as the spells. On the top, we are going to have the double Jade Warriors. I think they're very, very good up against Tzeentch. Of course, they do have 90 armor with the stance ability, plus they come in with the bronze shields, and they're pretty damn cheap for 500 gold cost. They're very good at capturing domination points, and they're very easily supported by Jade Warrior crossbows. So a really nice force here, a bit of a mixture coming in from Grand Cathay. Very nice force indeed, I must say so. But on the top, Will Francesco is going to be taking a full build here. I really like this. So we are going to have the Herald of Tzeentch. He's going to be on a disc, so we can fire with 417 missile strength there. He's also going to be having the abilities of Arcane Conduit, the Fires of Change with the spells of the Infernal Gateway, as well as the Glean Magic and the Blue Fire of Tzeentch. We are going to be having the Chromatic Tome, as well as the Locus of Conjuration, and also the Opal Amulet for a bit of extra tank. So double burning chariots here, one on either side, 1,400 missile strength with Warp Flame and bucket loads of armor piercing. Now we are going to have physical resistance, 85 speed, so we can get around the battlefield, and we can really fight quite nicely in combat. Now if we do actually look at the barrier, 800 barrier is actually quite substantial. It's going to be getting nearly 20% there of its total HP, so it's actually rather tanky, and it certainly can cycle charge into melee combat. On the front, we are going to have Forsaken of Tzeentch backed up here by 5 units of the Blue Horrors. Now, of course, they did receive a cost increase, but there are certainly elements you can still use the Blue Horrors, and they're incredibly cost efficient. So both sides going to be coming forward. Will Francesco is going to be taking the top here at Domination Point 3. I think here, if we see this, you probably just got to up and round here for Grand Cathay. You want to come around. It is going to take you a while. You are incredibly slow here. Jade Warriors have quite a high armor class, and the Lord Choice just needs to get away. If we've got any great long bars in the back pocket, certainly want to be some of them here. Definitely want to put some pressure on the Burning Chariots. These chariots can certainly get in and also quite affect the infantry. They can really kind of push them over up against the Jade Warrior crossbows, kind of muddle up their lines there and prevent them from firing into the front line. So the Herald of Tzeentch is going to be shooting into the Lord of Yin, so quite nice stuff there. Looks like he's now actually going to turn with a 360 burn on the Celestial Dragon Guard. Got to be careful as well though. Down the line here, the Burning Chariots could do some devastating damage up against a multi-model entity. Now we do see here the Great Longmarchs are coming forward with the Crane Gunners in position, and not too much to shoot. I think with Crane Gunners on the battlefield as well as the Grand Cannons, it's really smart to get the top ridge and fight for here and Domination Point 1, because of course you don't really want to be going up against all those artillery pieces. So we're going to a bit of a skip on here into combat. Now we do see the Blue Horrors coming down. I'm sure here they're going to be firing maybe up against the Celestial Dragon Guard. We do actually have 2 in there, and then we are going to have the Jade Warrior crossbows in the back. Actually, it looks like they're going to be fighting in melee combat. That's a bit of a bold choice, I must say so. But it looks like here the Celestial Dragon Guard, they're going to be putting them in place, and maybe we can get a couple of shots down the line here. We do have the Forsaken charging forward. They're going to be getting, looks like a couple of shots down the line here of the Jade Warriors. They're going to be losing a quarter already, and we have the crossbows firing in the front up against the Forsaken. Pretty decent armor piercing there for the crossbows. Of course, that's not their main trait, but it's going to be 6 armor piercing per missile, which, if you compare it to regular bows, is pretty decent. In the back here, you can see this pink flame just dousing all over the Jade Warriors, including the crossbows as well, and doing some pretty good damage in the back. Looks like we are going to dominate the top here and reign supreme. On the floor, bit of a mistake here coming out of Will Francesco. I think just kind of throwing the blue horrors there into the mist. But of course, it does keep Grand Cathay rather busy. Actually, they take quite a bit of damage, so perhaps maybe just pinning them in place, getting a spell off that I didn't see, but nonetheless, it's actually pretty decent there. We're going to find the Lord Choice backed up here by Great Longmars, fighting up against these Skirmishes. Really want to get the recharge here with the Furies around the back. They do have magic damage, but they also do come here with the shield. It's not really all that substantial, going to be coming in at 10%. But we're going to be fighting here quite nicely. The Skirmishes, they are anti-large and armor piercing, but they do have the Storm with the Shadows on them. They are going to prevent them from getting away, and they are going to wither rather quickly. The Lord Choice hits the floor. It is going to allow the Great Longmars to fight, and now we're going to put out the Lord Choice. That's incredibly smart there coming through Grand Cathay. A really quick way to put out the Lord Choice out of combat in perhaps a state you don't want him to be in. Forsaken and Tzeentch charging forward. Do you see crossbows shooting at the top here up against the blue horrors? Bit of a miss here, I think. Yeah, that's like a Comet of Cassandora going to be missing up against the blue horrors. They're going to fire into the front line and probably do quite a bit of devastating damage up against the Celestial Wrecking Guard. Now, 95 armor plus 35% missile resistance up against all small missiles is going to negate a lot of this, but chip damage will take effect, and they're not looking too healthy themselves. Now, they do have the Harmony buff, thanks to having the crossbows nice and close. They will be getting leadership increases, which should keep them in the fight. At the top, Domination Point 3 hasn't been taken here by Tzeentch. This is a bit of a mistake there from Will Francesco. Maybe he didn't see this, but Domination Point 1 certainly is going to be taken by Grand Cathay. In the back here, we have the Flames firing into the backside here of the crossbows. Wouldn't mind seeing these getting into melee combat. Certainly could be quite interesting. We do actually have a bit of a shot and a miss there from the Herald of Tzeentch. A bit of a shame there, but we do have the Celestial Wrecking Guard breaking in the back. That's going to be a shatter there, and we do have the return of the Great Longmar Riders. Now, we don't have to engage here, but it is 105. Oh, wow, that's some big damage. That was some big boy damage there coming out of the Chariots. Probably wouldn't want to fight here, though. The Lord Choice is not super tanky. Gleam Magic has been activated, plus the Opal Amulet, giving that 20% damage resistance, but I still don't believe it's going to be great fighting in them. The Great Longmars are superior fighters in the sky, and the Lord Choice will fall rather quickly. On the floor, the J-Broad crossbow is going to be firing into the middle here up against the mass blue horrors. They do actually have some Forsaken charging forward, 2 units. Shield Breaker has been activated as we just sniped here with the Crane Gunners. We have more of the anti-large Screamers. That's actually going to be with the triple gold chevron coming with that 10 leadership, 8 melee attack and 7 melee defense. Rather impressive indeed. The Lord Choice is getting his arse absolutely and well and truly handed to him. Gleam Magic, the Chromatic Tome has been activated, but he is going to be falling at a rapid pace. What is going on? He's dying like I've never seen. The Great Longmars are just shredding him a new one, and he's going to be down to 68, and there we go, the Lord just died. And that was it. That's all she wrote. That was incredibly fast. I don't think that could have been the Lord of Yin. That was definitely down to the Great Longmars, but that was the quickest I've ever seen a Lord Choice die. Now, this was a bit of an interesting summon. You know, often quite find this a lot because there's not too many regular spawn points. There's only 2 on the battlefield. So you end up finding that quite a lot of these elements end up, you know, kind of spawning together. In the back, we are going to have Jade Lancers fighting here up against the Forsaken Blue Horrors as well. I think Francesco going a little bit far across the battlefield. I don't think this was particularly necessary in the back here. I think Domination Point 2 is going to be open. If I'm Grand Cathay, considering I'm far slower than Tzeentch, I definitely want to be dominating this point. Getting Crane Gunners on here, not only capturing, but then also giving fire superiority over the battlefield is certainly very handy. So Talons of the Night here in the middle, great armor-piercing magical spell. It's going to be doing some good damage up against the Forsaken of Tzeentch. I'll be shredding those rather quickly, down to 2,300 HP, and the Wuxing War Compass, the big balls on the front, known for melee combat, are going to be fighting here in the middle. Sadly, no anti-infantry here for the Chariot piece, but 160 weapon strength, because, you know, why not? In the back here, what are we going to be summoning? So we are going to get some of the Forsaken at the top. Other than that, that's going to be it. Really not too much going on here. Peasants are going to come from down low. They're going to be trying to fight here in the middle. The Screamers now going to be fighting in melee combat up against the Lord Choice, but of course they're going to get poked here by the Peasant Long Spearmen. And when it comes down to cost efficiency, there's not much better in the game outside of Peasant Long Spearmen and Blue Horrors. In the skies, we have more Screamers chasing off here up against the Broken Longmars. We have no ammunition left here for the Burning Chariot. This is where actually going to the Regiment of Renown forward. Could be quite good here to give a little bit more ammo for the Double Burning Chariots. But here in the middle, we are going to have some really, really nice resistance. So double Peasant Long Spearmen, we are going to have some Jade Warriors, plus also the Ancestral Warriors. So the summon here of the Stormy Demons. The bad boys do come forward as they crackle, and you just hear all those whipping electric sounds here in the air as they charge forward onto domination point 1, really trying to push off the majority of the Tzeentch force. Grand Cathay is going to dominate point 1. Point 3 here is still going to be neutral. Haven't caught it here. I think a little bit of a mistake there still coming out of Tzeentch. You can see 1,285 tickets going up against 0 here. Domination point 2 is still open. We're still going to be summoning quite a few flying troops. We're still fighting over the middle whilst losing tickets. I would say here, for any new players, this is something I definitely wouldn't recommend, and you need to watch the domination points. So you should be quite aware now that we are going to be losing this. Peasant Horseman, oh, here we go. Here we go. We have the blazing Squealers, the bad boys, and this is what we're here to see today. The Conduit of Infinity. Now, it can only be activated once, and it gives 13 seconds of extra ammunition in a 55-meter radius. Arcane Mirth as well, which is rather powerful here, but of course the Lord is dead. Physical resistance, 25 armor, and Warp Flame on these bad boys, which is incredibly powerful. It increases their weapon strength as it does fire damage, but then also reduces armor by 10, which is, you know, I didn't say much more about that, apart from it's incredibly powerful. So we are going to have the Storm in the back here. So sorry, that's actually going to be the Talon of Knights destroying the Forsaken. They're going to break there, even at half health, which is rather surprising. Really want the Screamers to get in and amongst the Dragon-Blooded Lord. And the reason being there's no healing on the battlefield, so really need to drag him down rather quickly. The second and final Ancestral Warrior summon on the battlefield here. You can see they're looking rather healthy. You can see, oh, I just love that electric all over them. The fact they're ethereal and just absolute gangsters on the battlefield with anti-large armor piercing. And they're going to be thumping up against the Screamers. Oh, I love them. I especially love them up against the Ogre Kingdoms, just because they suffer with absolutely no magic melee damage. So in the back here, the Burning Chariot going to be taking a little bit of unnecessary damage here. And we are going to be desummoning. There we go. Very nice stuff. I believe that was some of the Celestial Dragon Guard. Getting those off the battlefield, allowing them to regen and get back here. So fighting in melee combat, a bit of an interesting one there. The Blazing Squealers are going to be charging in. Definitely would have shot with those, and then maybe got to charge in with the Furies. Don't really care if the Furies take too much damage. They've got that shield, and the Blazing Squealers will certainly burn through the Peasant Long Spearmen, or shall I say the Peasant Horsemen, rather quickly. In the skies, we are going to have the Burning Chariots. Probably get these across, maybe start using the ability here of the Blazing Squealer, start getting some more ammunition on the battlefield. We do actually have Mass Blue Horrors coming forward, 3 units. 1 Forsaken does need to be removed there. We are going to be 1,940 tickets here to Grand Cathay. We do actually have another unit of the Celestial Dragon Guard. They are rather tanky, but you know, either way, with that defensive stance, I actually do think that the regular halberds are just as good here in this matchup. I think if you're going to bring anything, if you bring the Regiment of Renown, you do come with magic damage here. Which can be really quite handy for the Celestial Dragon Guard. So someone here, the Great Longbars, we do actually have some Blue Horrors on the floor. Going to be dropping some bombs, and a little bit of a sniper's nest here in the Sky Junk. An absolute Chad pick, I must say so. Look at these 50 calibers in the nest here, and going to be taking the helm and trying to see if we can drop some bombs and get all sorts of scoot and shoot going on here in the front line. A bit of a nuisance here. For Tzeentch, we are going to have to summon quite a few units here to deal with that. Plus, also having Great Longbars on the battlefield that are triple. No, I said triple gold chevron. Or was that double gold? Double silver chevron. So they are still going to be getting some rather meaty stats for that. In the back, another Talons of the Night, which is going to be destroying the Blue Horrors, doing some rather good work. And we do see a little bit of ammunition here now coming out of the Burning Chariots. We managed to get 1 shot from there, so 3 ammunition coming forward. That's going to be rather good across the battlefield. But we do now manage to capture Domination Point 3, so good stuff there for Will Francesco. And now we're going to be shooting down the town here with the Blazing Squealers. So they're going to be doing some good damage here against the Jade Warrior crossbow shields. And of course, if you can shoot them from behind, you can negate that 35% resistance. Eventually, somebody's going to be charging over to Domination Point 2. Forsaken are on the point here with Blue Horrors. If anything charges over, you can immediately push forward here with the Forsaken and create just a momentary barrier. In the back, we can see Blue Horrors firing into the front here, maybe doing some good damage up against the Peasant Long Spearmen. And something I definitely want to say here, with the ability of the Blazing Squealers, with their Conduit of Infinity, every time you summon it, you do get it back, so you should be able to use that on multiple occasions. So, you know, of course, don't be scared if you do lose them there on the battlefield. In the middle, the Celestial Dragon Guard definitely want to be shot here by the Blazing Squealers, removing that armor and also giving them a bit of a fire weakness. It's going to be rather good here up against the Mass Blue Horrors. In the sky, the Screamers here with the triple gold chevron, which are absolutely nutty here with their stats, going to be fighting up against the Great Longmar Riders. But I think here for Grand Cathay, we definitely want to dominate over on Domination Point 2. Definitely want to get involved a little bit more there. We see the tides are turning, so double tickets here. We're going to be up to 750 tickets. I think it's 2,600. So we'll also be getting a ticket advantage. Losing compensation is going to be 5. I think we have to get considerably high. I think it's 2,000 tickets behind before we start getting a 10 compensation. In the middle of the Burning Chariot is going to be chasing off the Lord Choice. Very nice stuff there coming from Will Francesco. Definitely want to be getting off the Lord Choice, and it certainly shows a good quality of player. You know, you need to get these elements off the battlefield. Don't allow them to desummon and get back faster. If you push them off, it takes longer to regen and get them back on the battlefield. And we do see Jade Warrior is going to be breaking the Jade Lancers coming down here for a bit of a charge up against the Blazing Squealers. And it's going to be some really, really nice stuff here. Jade Lancers going to be doing some great work. Good armor as well here at 100. And even if you shoot them with the Blazing Squealers, only losing 10 armor. Now look at this. The bad boy on the battlefield. We are going to have the Soul Grinder. And don't get it wrong like I do. These have anti-large armor-piercing shots, 250 range and magic damage. They can fight melee combat here with magic damage and bucket loads of armor piercing. And this bad boy is an absolute menace. Now, what he could do is maybe shoot here up against the Sky Giant. That really wouldn't be too bad. You know, getting that 556 missile strength with bonuses large, which also increase those weapon stats up against the Sky Giant would be rather nice. Now, to counter here up against the big boy in the middle, what do we do? So we need to get the Crane Gunners in. They're going to have a very good focused fire, long range, very accurate, and bucket loads of armor piercing. They would have shred through the Soul Grinder and then maybe get a bit more dominance on the battlefield. At the top, though, we do actually get a return of the Jade Warriors. The Peasant Horsemen do break, but we do have Blue Horrors on the top. They can certainly shoot down here. There we go. They're going to be firing through. That's going to break the Jade Warriors, and that's going to be all they wrote there, with the Screamers chasing off the Great Long Mars. Over the battlefield, a bit of a macro view here. We do see some Peasant Long Spearmen coming in. Not too much here coming from the forces of Tzeentch. We have 2,000 tickets in the pocket. Maybe the Lord Choice might come back here. Only time can tell, really. But we do have the Song Grinder in the middle. Triple tickets here coming forward from Will Francesco. And he's going to 2,100 here up against 3,000. We have Forsaken charging to the middle, but that is going to leave Domination Point 2 open. Now, we do see the Jade Warrior crossbows coming over with those shields. I'd really like to see them get on Domination Point 2 and start firing off it, because they can give good support. They can also move forward. A bit of a blockade here with the Jade Warriors. Now, what I'd like to see them doing is actually not having the Sword and Shield Jade Warriors coming forward, but actually pushing past the Domination Point and creating a bit of a barrier, which we can have the Jade Warrior crossbows capping, and then also shooting over the top and giving some extra cover fire. Now, we do have the Burning Chariot. They can certainly get in and kind of ruin the day here of the Jade Warrior crossbows. One side charge here would be some very, very good stuff indeed. We do actually have the Soul Grinder. He's going to be moving at some good speed. So, at 75 coming across the battlefield, maybe come back against the Jade Warriors. He can certainly shred these in a matter of seconds. Oh! Look at that double slash there into the backside of the Jade Warriors. He's going to be getting in and doing some meaty stuff. Oh, I love it. I love the animations they brought into this game. The Burning Chariot in as well. The double single entities doing some big stuff indeed. And of course here we are going to be imbuing that terror with the Soul Grinder. Coming forward now, we do have some more infantry. We have some of the Forsaken. Now, of course, they have been nerfed a little bit. They did lose their 40% spell resistance, but they're still incredibly powerful and certainly not to be played with. Jade Lancers is going to be getting shot here. Scream is getting the rear charge with that triple gold chevron, and they're going to be doing some very, very good damage. Jade Lancers do fall. It's going to be 3,000 is that 3,000? 3,500 tickets up against 3,000. A little bit difficult. I've got my camera in the way, unfortunately. But we do see here Jade Warriors fighting against the Forsaken. They'll hold pretty nicely if they do actually get the Harmony of Yang. They certainly can get up into the low 50s on that melee defense. On the side, the Wuxing Wall Compass going to be fighting here up against the Soul Grinder. Not really too good there for him. Also, Peasant Long Spearman going to be fighting, shooting here with the Blazing Squealers. Definitely want to get in there with the Great Long Mars. So they're going to be fighting up against the Regiment of Renown, and they'll delete them in a matter of seconds. 65 weapon strength plus that 75 charge bonus is just devastating for 13 seconds of damage. Do that, get out, get back in, and you'll shred these in no time. But we do see here the Screamers coming across, and that triple gold chevron really paying off. You can see here it's going to be a good counter up against the Great Longmark Cavalry, but they're also going to be up to a triple silver chevron now, so they're going to be getting some very, very good stuff indeed. Burning Chariot has bucket loads of weapon strength with armor piercing, so he can fight quite nicely. 380 there per hit could really take down the model of the Great Longmark. In the sky, still going to be having the Sky Giant. Kind of just ignored that, which actually, you know, kind of a fan of. Don't really care about this big beastie. He's kind of a bit of a waste of money here on Domination, sadly. In the middle, we do have the Soul Grinder still here with a bit of a shield. And it looks like here, it is going to be the victory coming for Will Francesco for an excellent game indeed. Really, really enjoyed that one. Certainly some very, very fun elements. And thank you very much, Will Francesco, for taking on my challenge and sending it into Discord. Now, if anybody here on YouTube is watching and they would like to see maybe a challenge of their own or just something awesome on the YouTube channel, do feel free to go into that description and check out that Discord. You can leave the replays in the replays for casting section. I'll check them out and hopefully you'll be seeing it on my YouTube in the future. Now, we do have the Herald of Tzeentch. He's going to be coming at 150 kills, 1,800 damage value, 2,050, and 1,400 for the Burning Chariots. These bad boys really paying for themselves. 509 there for the Forsaken, 700 for the Blue Horrors, 330, 500, 800, and 400. You can still see comfortably paying for themselves, so having that increase in cost certainly was, the right thing to do here for Tzeentch. So the Soul Grinder coming at 620, came in a little bit late, but we saw 1,100 for the Blazing Squealers. It can get quite difficult for them to pay for themselves, but they were certainly a battlefield nuisance. 888 for the Forsaken of Tzeentch, 1,950. With the Silver Chevron, very nice stuff indeed, 125 kills. Yeah, Forsaken are certainly a pain to deal with. 240 for the last unit, with 1,780 and 1,050 there for the Screamers. 580, and sadly we didn't see the other Chaos Furies, but still, Furies, very, very good, very, very fast. A bit of a nuisance here for Grand Cathay. 3,700 though for the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin. Now that is absurd damage. Very, very good stuff. Certainly one of the most cost-efficient lords in the game. Put that on a great longbar, great speed, great melee stats, and just the Lord of Yin. Great summons, brilliant spells, debuffs, you name it, they've got it. Certainly a big fan there of that Lord choice. Only 640 there for the Crane Gunners. You really have to optimize. I think Crane Gunners certainly have been improved, but I think for those players that have really got top-tier experience, they know how to use Crane Gunners, they know how to protect them, and they know when it's certainly viable to have them on the battlefield. I certainly save them in the back pocket, just in case I need them. I definitely don't start with them because I think they're a bit of a risk. I think you need to go just a little bit wider here. A couple of the Jade Warrior crossbows going rather cheap here with Jade Warrior front line is certainly the way I like to go. But 300, 166 there for the Celestial Dragon Guard with 1,180 for the Wujing War Compass. 105, 360 for the Jade Warriors with 525 and 100 for the crossbow shields. In the back here, 211, only 780 damage value for the Skyjanes. You can see really not doing too much, and it was pretty much uncompromised for the entire battle. It was just shooting, scooting, and sadly not doing too much. And in fact, actually getting the gold chevron here with the Great Longmars, coming in at 3,055 damage value. Great Longmars are just have an incredible synergy with Grand Cathay. They are certainly very useful indeed. We did have a Grand Cannon in the back. I was very surprised we didn't see it, but 700 there for the Jade Lancers, 1,280 for the Jade Warrior Crossbows with 450. More Jade Warriors coming in at 78. 320 there for the Peasant Horseman, with 109 for the Peasant Long Spearman, 228, 44, and then of course 0 there for the Peasant Long Spearman. So what do I say for Grand Cathay? Well, there's a couple of things to think about. Quite a few of the units here for the Tzeentch faction don't have much armor, so pink horrors, blue horrors, etc. Very easy to compromise with cheap cavalry. Either just Peasant Horsemen, or you come in with the Jade Lancers. They can do some very, very nice work indeed. Jade Warrior Crossbows are going to do very well pretty much against anything on the battlefield. They have enough armor piercing, they'll have some good DPS up against even Forsaken. They don't have any shields, so they can't really negate too much, and they'll trade rather efficiently with actual shields up against pink and blue horrors. So I think going here with regular Jade Warriors, Jade Warrior Crossbows, cheap cavalry, and then great Longmars to support the sky with the Lord choice, and then having something like the Crane Gunners in the back in case we do come forward here, with an element such as the Soul Grinder. You can certainly use these to take them down. If we've got a big duck in the sky, these things are very accurate, very fast shooting, and a bit of a nuisance. I do like the Celestial Dragon Guard, but you can see, I think one of these actually had 2 summons. They just didn't pay for themselves. I think just going with the regular unit is probably fine. Now, of course, these ones do come with shields, but, you're still going to be having 90 armor with that defensive stance. And I think, bringing in that extra money to the battlefield is certainly rather handy. But either way, I hope all of you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. It really does help the growth of all the videos and hopefully shares it out to the wider audience. One of my Tzeentch videos up against the Ogre Kingdoms did really well recently, so thank you so much for all that support. It's definitely already in the top 10 of my best ever videos. If you did enjoy it, also do feel free to leave a comment down below, things you'd like to see in the future. And if you haven't already, do feel free to subscribe. It really does help the growth of my actual channel. Other than that, I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.